known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Just like Minty said, guys, the best bets at each website right now from one handicapper, just $2 for $2 Tuesday. Welcome back right here to Wager Talk TV for another episode of Puck Time. And as you can see, I don't get to choose my background every day. I do not get to request the background. It's not always my choice, but it's all in good fun. And it's just one game. I love how everybody is counting the Canadians out after one hockey game. Good thing there's 7 games played in a series. Happy to have Don Buster joining us, and you can see him in supporting his Montreal Canadiens jersey. So no giving up from him either after just one game. I want to thank everybody for joining me yesterday on $9 Monday on my baseball plays. Unbelievable run. We're now up 78% in baseball since April 16th. It's been an unbelievable run in baseball. So thanks a lot to all of you guys that joined. And if you do buy my plays, you will get a special coupon code in the baseball play. So make sure you check that out as well. I want to bring in my co-host Carmine Bianco and ask him what's going on for him today at WagerTalk.com and how the night was last night.
Andrew, just one correction. I'm doing some fact checking. I just checked, and the NHL it's not a 7-game schedule. The NHL has changed that Montreal Vegas one to a 4-game schedule. They figure that's all it's needed for this series. But all joking aside, in all honesty, it was a good game, regardless of the final score. What wasn't a good part of the game is, Montreal pulls their goalie with like 4.5 minutes left, and I'm sitting on a ticket of over 5.5. I'm like, they got to get one empty netter, or Montreal's got to get nothing for 4.5 minutes of absolute complete torture. And then they put Price back in net for the last 30 or 45 seconds just to stick it to me one last time. But a good game nonetheless, and another good one tonight between the Isles and the Lightning. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got one play up on that game as well too, and then I'll do a show best bet at the end. Show best bets are tough right now, guys. I'm sorry, with only one game and not the 5 or 6 we're normally used to. We're looking at like player props and stuff. And while Mark Stone had some chances to score yesterday, he didn't. So we'll just keep putting these out and just put pizza money on them if you're following along. Nothing more than that. One of my favorite people down in Mexico. Let's bring him in. None other than Don Buster. How you doing, my friend?
Well, of course, Carmine, as you know, tough night last night for Montreal, but there's lots to look forward to for the Habs, I believe. They played well that first period. There's no doubt Vegas has a little bit more talent, but I'm very impressed. Parts of the game that you need to win playoffs. 1, winning face-offs. Montreal did that. It's in Vegas. They also, special teams. They scored a power play goal, held them to no goals on the power play. So there's lots to like there. Fleury outplayed Price, even though Price played Carey's way. I really believe, and it's going to be hard for him to do, but I really believe he has to even play better for Montreal to win this series. And as Andrew always says, we'll see what happens. It was tough for Montreal to go in there and see that big crowd like that. First time they played in front of a crowd like that in 15 months. So I was happy with what they play. And you know what, Andrew? I know it's a little bit of a sad day, but as they always say in Vegas, we're playing on house money with Montreal. We never ever thought they'd get to the semifinals this year with that team. So we're pretty good, in a pretty good spot no matter what happens this series.
Oh, I'm not too upset, Buster. Everybody's acting like the series is already over, and I know there's just been one game played. So I will say though, I think Vegas. I have to give credit when credit's due. Having the luxury of being on this platform every single weekday with all of you guys talking hockey, I make statements, I make claims, and I think when I'm wrong about something, it's important to come on and acknowledge it and say what I was wrong about. And one thing I have to say is that I thought the edge for the Montreal Canadiens would definitely be the bottom 6 versus the bottom 6. But, the Canadiens did a good job of shutting down the top 6 for the Golden Knights. But it was the bottom six that did great. A lot of pressure from the Vegas Golden Knights, but the defensemen were actually the biggest key for this team, because I don't think the Habs played with either the Leafs or the Jets, a team that had as many defensemen that were willing to jump into the rush. And that was kind of the difference. I think defensemen combined for 8 points last night for the Vegas Golden Knights, so the Canadians will have to be aware of that. But I don't really think the crowd was a big issue. I think everybody wants to make it about the crowd. I think it was just, they got outplayed. There was one screen goal, one wide open net goal, one tip goal. Vegas played the way they had to play. The one good thing I could say, and I understand what you're saying, Buster, about Price maybe stopping one or two of those, but let's be honest, everything he saw, he saved. Every goal that the Vegas scored, he couldn't even see, or he wasn't even anywhere near the net. So, but Vegas played really, really well. They had 4 lines that played well, and hats off to Marc-Andre Fleury for that first period, because Montreal did have their chances. They came out in the first period strong, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, one of these teams was minus 500, and look what's happening. And then the game started to unravel, and we saw a different story there. But looking forward to game 2. That'll be Wednesday. We'll discuss that game tomorrow. And, of course, we'll have Prez on to discuss how much he hates the Habs, and he's been doing that for the last 2 rounds. So that'll be fun. Let's jump into the Islanders and the Lightning series. This is a really entertaining series. Defensive series, lower scoring series so far at least. Lightning, though, open up minus 200. Islanders plus 170. Puck line is minus 1.5, plus 140, minus 165 the other way. Total opened up at 5 between these two teams. Taking a look at it, obviously we had the Islanders win the previous one 2-1. Face-off battle. Buster talked about it. It's always huge. 61% to 39% in favor of the Islanders. That's huge. Home or away, it's huge to win those. Shots on goal battle was even. The hits battle was even. Lightning capitalized on the power play once. But overall, an outstanding game. The Islanders continue to do their thing defensively. We have 2 great goaltenders. You have to think to yourself, though, Carmen, it's kind of the same story. And I was disappointed in myself for not buying into the Islanders in the second round, and thinking to myself, I always said the recipe for playoffs is physicality, goaltending, and depth. And it seems like the Islanders have that. I know you look at regulation and stuff, Carm, but can you believe this Lightning team is minus 200 after what we've seen from the Islanders?
Yeah, I think it's probably an overreaction to what happened in game 1, and everyone just believes that, well, they lost game 1, they've got to win game 2, and maybe that is the thing. Maybe they do win game 2. Laying that big a price, I just can't do it. I've said all year, you guys know I've said it all year about laying these, the minus 200s and stuff. And sometimes I will look at the alternative of a regulation time bet, which comes with obviously the risk of the game going to overtime and your team winning and you losing your bet. Or you can look at like the puck line in one of these ones and take the plus money with Tampa if you think they're going to win. I'm hoping Tampa bounces back tonight. I'm kind of thinking this game reverts back to Tampa style of play, because I think the Islanders sort of enforced their will on. The Islanders did one thing that teams in the previous rounds did not do against Tampa Bay, and you know what that is? They stayed out of the box. Only 3 penalties. The first one 8 seconds in was an offsetting, so it's not a power play. The second Islander penalty came at the tail end of the second period. So that was a power play that was 45 seconds into the left in the second, and then a minute and a half into the third period. You don't get the full 2 minutes of a power play, and Tampa's been absolutely killer on the power play. The final penalty led to a power play goal, obviously in a 6-on-4 situation with a couple of minutes left in the game. And that's probably where I'm going to look to with our show best bet is power play points with the Tampa Bay team. I would love to say, and I'm going to say it, I'm looking for Tampa Bay to bounce back tonight. But sometimes in these series, a team just plays super tough, and the Islanders did that in game 1. I don't know if they can do it in game 2. I'm kind of hoping they don't. With that said, I'm leaning to Tampa Bay in this game, and I might go as far as lean to the puck line in this game, which I haven't done very often in the playoffs thus far.
All right. Well, like mentioned, you can get that puck line at around plus 140. Buster, we've always talked with you about laying big prices, and people always use the phrase "bet numbers, not teams." But I have always said in the playoffs, you can kind of throw that out a little bit. I've seen Dave Kogan say it. I've seen Teddy Cover say it. Where in the playoffs, you're just picking the winner. You're just picking the winner of the game. Obviously, you don't want to lay too much juice, but you're more just concerned about picking the winner versus the regular season. You want to manage that bankroll and not lay too much juice. But in this instance, I don't like the minus 200. Like Carm said, if I'm playing this on Tampa, I'm looking at regulation or the minus 1.5. I can't be convinced to go minus 200 on a Tampa Bay team that got outplayed last game.
No, of course you can't. You're not going to go minus 200 on a play like that. And I have said, Carmine says that he's been going on about not laying that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, in the playoffs, I've been going for years. Every time I've been on this show, never. What do I say? I don't lay anything over 160 ever. In NHL regular season, playoffs, I just don't do it. And and it's funny, and you see all the time. And I guess because there's one game, I'll just shortly get into this. You can, as a gambler, you can tell yourself there's value on anything. There will be guys telling you that minus 200, there's tons of value on the Islanders minus 200. They should be minus 300, right? So you can tell yourself anything when in this to make yourself bet big favorites. And you know what? A lot of guys bet big favorites and they pick and choose and they're very successful. Like, God bless them. That's great for them. That's just not my style of handicapping, and guys can do it. I can't. So for me here, you know what? I'm kind of with Carmine. I actually gave my clients the Islanders to win this series plus 220. I really thought the Islanders would do what I was looking at when I went back at some stuff that I would see is that I was thinking the Islanders. Now I know it's one game. I was thinking that the Islanders were 2 years ago, Columbus. You know what I mean? Columbus plays that kind of style, except for the Islanders got Barry Trotz, and that guy is a fantastic coach. So to me, I'm thinking Tampa Bay comes out flying tonight. They're going to jump all over them. They probably win this game. Carmine's play minus 1.5. I don't know if I want to do that. I do like Tampa Bay in regulation, but I like the Islanders to go back home, and they might win both those games back home if they can keep playing this style of hockey. And as Carmine said, they have to stay out of the penalty box. Tampa Bay actually they had the two, like Carmine said, there was a third one, but it was 8 seconds, so they don't count that. But they did score one goal out of the 2 power plays that they had. So as long as they stay out of the box, it'll always depend on how the refereeing of the game goes, right? Because the Islanders play very aggressive. So if they're getting calls on hits that maybe one ref wouldn't call, you can watch it. So you guys like to bet in-game, so you might want to bet some in-game action too, because the total's 5 this time. It was 5.5 last game. So you might even want to bet this game over 5 because it's minus 125, I believe. And 5 is an easy number to get to, as we all know. But for me, I'm going to take Tampa Bay in regulation here. And if they go down 0-2, so be it. Might even be able to hedge my series play because Tampa Bay, if they're down 0-2, they're down 0-2, it might be able to get Tampa Bay probably go plus 500-600, put 1% on there, and me and my clients have made money no matter what happens in the series.
You don't always love to see a hedge opportunity, but I mean, if something like that happens, Buster, that's a dream come true for you. I mean, you got the Islanders pre-series. If they go up 2-0, you're laughing. You're cashing a winning plus money ticket on either way. I wanted to say I think it's a correlated wager with Tampa and the over and the Islanders and the under. And we've talked about Islander unders. Yeah, we've talked about Islanders unders all year long, and in parts of the year and the end of the year, part of the playoffs, they looked a little different. They were scoring goals, guys. They were, their defensemen jumping into the rush. They had different guys stepping up and scoring. But I just believe if Tampa Bay gets going, it's not going to be pretty. I just really do believe that. I think if they get going and they bounce back as the odds makers expect them to, like I was talking with you guys about, then it's not going to be a 2-1 victory for the Lightning, and Carm, maybe you have these stats because I used to have them, and you've been following it a lot more than me. Do you remember off the top of your head what those fives record was? I know it's just so many pushes or wins. And I know we're not playing for pushes, but the insurance seems to be a worst case scenario. You get a push.
Yeah, I'm doing some other number stats I'm going to reveal in a second, but going into I think 1 or 2 games back, it was 21, 10 and 4, 21 wins, 10 pushes, 4 losses when going over the number of 5, if you're betting over the number of 5. So that's a pretty good pretty good angle to take on these fives, Andrew.
Pretty good angle. Absolutely. And I wanted to get you guys' take on something. Obviously, this is a sports gambling show, but it's interesting to think about. And when I was thinking about my predictions for this series, it kind of crossed my mind. And did you guys hear? I'll start with you, Buster. Did you hear what Dougie Hamilton had to say about the salary cap rule in the playoffs? Did you hear the remarks that he had to say? Because, he was like, I don't know. To me, if I lost, I would never want to give any credit anywhere else than to the beat me. That's just the kind of person I am. I hate to lose. I'm a competitive person, but I wouldn't want to blame anything else but the actual athletes that beat me. And Dougie Hamilton, he's like, well, what are they? $18 million over the cap. And for everybody out there watching at home, there's no salary cap in the playoffs. So it just so happened that their players got healthy for the playoffs to come back when there is no salary cap. Any thoughts there, Buster?
Well, it's funny that you said just so happened. Just so happened those are 2 best players that basically sat out and got in there. So, of course, there's some gamesmanship going on with the GMs and that. But you know what? They play within the rules, and if they're playing within the rules, that's fine. And again, Dougie Hamilton probably shouldn't be saying anything. They lost. And a lot of people thought, me included, I know the 3 of us all thought Carolina could beat Tampa Bay regardless of how much salary cap they had. So to me, I'm like you, Andrew. When you lost, you lost. You get back up off the ground and you live to fight another day. That's just how it is in life. That's in every aspect of life. So yeah, I hear stuff like that. Again, I'm not too pleased with comments like that.
But for everybody out there, that's literally one less player on the roster for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's probably a third liner not on the team right now, if those guys are healthy all year long. Any thoughts, Carm?
Andrew, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave this one to Buster on this one because I was just putting together some numbers.
No worries.
I've zoned out on that.
It's the Euros, Andrew.
Yeah, no worries.
It is.
No worries.
I'm smack dab in the middle of things. But I want to make a point because someone mentioned it when I was talking, in previous game that, taking a Tampa Bay in regulation time instead of laying the juice. There's been 68 games thus far in the playoffs, including last night's game. 22 have gone into overtime. All right. So my good friend Joe Esposito, I'm not sure if he's related to Phil Esposito, he used to play for the Blackhawks or in the NHL, but 68 games thus far, 22 have gone in to overtime. So yes, you lose on 22 of those regulation plays. Well, let's look a little further. Those 22 games, the favorite, if they were, and these are teams that are minus 200 or more, lost 15 of those 22 games. So now, if you laid that vig, and you're playing a unit, you've now lost. Let's say your unit is like 100, 200 to win 100. You've now lost $3K while only making $700. You've lost money betting on these big priced teams to win in a full game play at minus 200. The regulation play saves you money long term. So look at it. If you're laying minus 110, it goes to OT. You've lost that bet. You lost $2,200. You're losing more the other way around. This is why anything minus 200 or more, you just can't lay that price. My way of looking at things. So.
Well, that's a great way of looking at it, Carm, because I think that people look at it a different way and they say, well, how many times have you lost the wager and it's gone to overtime? But then you could say the exact opposite and say, how many times have you lost the wager in general and you're losing 1.9 units instead of 1.1? 1.8 units instead of 1.1, or the regulation versus laying that amount of juice. So I'm happy to hear you were researching some numbers, Carmen. I wasn't just boring you to death too much, or you weren't just drifting off thinking about being at the Circa pool in Vegas with all the guys. But Carmen and I are actually making a trip together. We're planning one in September to go see a football game. So I think Carm was disappointed I couldn't go to Vegas this summer, but we're going to be actually heading, I believe, to Detroit to see a Lions game. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. I'm super excited. It's a road trip. If any of you people are in the Detroit area, a bunch of us are making a trip down there, and our Detroit, I love our Detroit staff, Missy, Melissa, Jason, Chris, James, obviously Johnny Detroit. They're all there. We're going to go watch the 49ers and the Lions. I'm obviously going to see them because who wants to watch the Lions? But with that said, I'm looking forward to it. Andrew's going to fly in. I'll entertain him for that. And yeah, I'm off to Vegas July 5th to the 12th. I'll be there to watch the Euro semifinals and finals, and meet up with our Vegas crew. And if Vegas, that's why I'm cheering for Vegas to make it into the Cup final, because I'm sure Brian Leonard or Marco, who have season tickets, will take me to at least one of those Stanley Cup playoff games. So I'm looking forward to it as well.
And I'm waiting on a few announcements from the Canadian government, but there's a decent chance that Carm might show up in Vegas and actually see me. So we'll see what happens there. But if I do end up going, Carm, I literally just won't tell you until I'm actually there. So that'll make it a little bit more fun. Buster, I want to go to you to ask you what's going on at Sports Memo and how you've been doing with NBA and all kinds of different things. And what do you have up for grabs tonight?
Yeah, I've been doing well in NBA. Baseball's been just complete shit the last 6 weeks. Month of April, I crushed it. So I guess maybe, Andrew, I'll have to buy your MLB package and to see how you're handicapping it right now. But I'm just kidding, obviously. My numbers were fantastic in April. It just crushed. May not so much, but NBA has kept me through. But what's really, really done me well and my clients is the PGA. I'm off back-to-back outright winners.
Big winner.
Garrick Hago at 50-1 last week. Cantley at 22-1. Hit Sam Burns at 80-1 about a month ago. And I actually just started putting out golf packages at Sports Memo at the beginning of the April near the Masters. I've been doing really well on golf. So the U.S. Open is this week at Torrey Pines. Check out. We'll have a golf package up by tonight around midnight. And that's what we have going over at Sports Memo. Really looking forward to that. Looking forward to the hockey tonight. And everything's good. And I hear that Carmine's going to Vegas. He did tell me that, but I did not know he was getting a cabana. I tell you, that must be on the WagerTalk a bill, I would have to think, because I was at Stadium Swim, and I know what the cabana is like. Either that or one of his buddies have got him set up pretty nice.
No, I'm going to say it right now. It is not on anybody's dime but my own. The cabanas are for 5 hours. You only get them for 5 hours. So I'm have it from 10 till 3 o'clock. It's $750 US bucks plus all these other fees. That it's like $1K. I've lost more than that betting the Buffalo Sabres this year. So it's at the end of the day, I'm going to write it off as a business expense because I'm watching the game. I'm doing research. So technically it is a business expense. I'm looking forward to it. The July 7th, I've invited some of the WagerTalk crew to join me at the cabana on that day. Buster, listen, before Andrew, I throw it back to Andrew. Absolutely fantastic hit. You hit Dave Koken, hit 54-1 outright winner. That's absolutely fantastic. And then you got Andrew, who's won 10 straight 5% plays. Absolutely. And
that's
MLB,
great.
Absolutely fantastic numbers. Back to you, Andrew.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, that Buster, that is crazy, man. Like I've hit outright golf winners like during the tournament at very, very low prices. And I was super excited. I hope you had a couple Souls or Coronas or whiskeys or something that night. I don't know what you drink, rum and cokes.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't drink. I don't know what it was, but man, congratulations. That is awesome. You're not just hitting one, you've hit countless this year. What's your strategy going into it with the clients? Do you give out like 3 a week? Do you have a certain number, like a 6-pack of them, a 5-pack, or 2%, 3? What percentage are they?
They're all 1% plays because, of course, there's 156 golfers usually at a tournament. So, I mean, it's very tough. But again, Andrew, you know, there's a lot of guys that play golf on here. I have been betting outright winners for a very long time because I'm a very old guy that's been gambling for almost 40 years. So since I was 18, but you know what I mean? And I just have always had a little system that I do. And you know what? I've gone a year without hitting one. I've also had years where I've hit 10 or 11 of them. This year, I'm already up to 6. But the year with the COVID is going to end a little bit. It's going to end in August, I believe it's going to be a little bit shortened. So, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with what's happened. And again, you do need a little bit of luck sometimes too. The one tournament when Ram got COVID, and then I got lucky with Cantley to win. So, I mean, you have to have luck in all kind of sports sometimes, just like in overtime hockey or extra inning baseball. You know, sometimes though, as I always say, if you're good, you'll be lucky sometimes. So yeah, again, quite pleased with all that, Andrew. And as far as all I can say to Carmen going to Vegas, make sure he wears a lot of sunscreen for that dome of his. That's all I can say.
And it's nothing worse of getting a sunscreen somewhere you can't even see, Buster, right? You know what I mean? Like if you get a sunscreen, if you get a sunburn on your arm or something, you're like, okay, I'll take care of that. But you can't even see your top of your head. How's he going to even know?
Yeah, because July in Vegas, sorry, Carmen. I've been in July in Vegas myself, and it was like 118 the one day I was there. So it's going to be really hot. So I'm just trying to help my brother out, make sure I don't want to see him have any trouble with a heat stroke or anything, you know.
I'll have like the SPV 1000 or whatever. I'll be tanned. I'm going to come back with that nice olive skin like our good man Joe Ranieri has, where he just looks like a superstar day in and day out. So don't worry, I'll be fine.
Good to hear.
All right, we're going to go back to Buster. Buster, we're talking about cash and tickets. We're talking about stuff going on in the past. Let's jump into the present or the future for this evening and tonight's game. What is the best bet you can give us when the Islanders and the Lightning go head-to-head for Game 2?
Okay, guys, I'm going to take one more kick at the cat here, as they say. And there is only one game, so, you know, I'm not sure how many more shows we'll be doing here on Tuesdays. So why not go back, taking Tampa Bay, first period puck line, -0.5, plus 140, 145. And that'll be my free play for the show. Let's see if Tampa Bay can come out on fire and get up 1 or 2 goals to start this game off.
Tampa Bay in the first period, -0.5, plus 140. Great price there. Find all of Buster's work over at sportsmemo.com. Carmine, let's go to you. And before I go to you, I need to vent for a second, man. What happened with Spain yesterday? I did so much reading, so much research on the team. Some people thought they would come out slow because of what happened. They had some COVID issues. That was the most lopsided first half I have ever seen. And I couldn't get my clients a winner. I was in misery, and I don't usually get too upset about these bets, but that one kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, the final XG numbers, I had them well in front. I think the final XG numbers were something like 2.67 to 1.34, something along those lines. Sweden came in to play a defensive game, try and get a point out of it, and then focus on their last 2 games in the group. Sorry, I got to clear my throat. Their last 2 games in the group, and then move on from there. But Spain had chances to score early. Alvaro Morata missed goals. Their manager Luis Enrique kind of has a love affair with Alvaro Morata. They got to get Gerardo Moreno in there. He's a much better finisher, clinical finisher, and I think he starts in the next game. But it was frustrating to watch. Spain all over them, couldn't get the goal. And in these games, kind of like that first game, Turkey and Italy, not to turn this into a soccer show, but Turkey did the same thing, tried to defend for 50 minutes. The minute the Italians broke through, they scored 3. I thought the same thing. If Spain breaks through, they'll score 3 because that team has to open up, the Sweden team. And once you open up, you fall into the trap of a team like Spain that has talent. So we'll see moving forward. It's just a bad one. Show best bet, guys. I'm going to go to power play props. Again, just make these pizza money bets. I've made money all playoff long with taking these Tampa Bay over half a point on the power plays. I expect to try and cash this one tonight. Steven Stamkos is plus 130 to get a point on the power play tonight. I really like that one. I'm taking it, of course, or else I wouldn't be giving it out. Up at WagerTalk, 2 plays up in Euro soccer. First one goes at 12 noon. 1 play up in NHL tonight. Also, I have a coupon code for the Euro package, Italy 40. Easy one to remember. Italy 40 gets you $40 off the Euro package of all my plays during the Euros. I've got 2 5% plays coming up in the next 7 days of the Euros. Those normally go for $35. So at $70 for the 2 plays, might as well get the whole tournament package of, and you get it for $159. So that's pretty much it, guys. If nothing else, best of luck tonight with your bets on tonight's game.
All right. Thanks a lot, Carm. Thanks a lot to Buster for his best bet. I'm going to go with Victor Hedman over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 100. First of all, great price. Don't like to, lay too much juice all the time with the props. Victor Hedman over 2.5 shots. I like I said, I think that it's going to be shots galore in this game. Yesterday, I gave out a shots on goal prop actually in the Canadiens game against the Knights. This time around, I'm going for not both teams combined, just one player individually. I expect lots of shots from the points, lots of spots from different angles. And I think that if you get to the power play, Hedman's out there as well. And as much as we all love talking about Kucherov and Stamkos and those players, Victor Hedman makes a huge difference offensively as well for this team. I also want to mention, guys, we have Prop It Up tonight at 4 p.m. Eastern. My show with Andy Lang and mid-major Matt Josephs every single Tuesday. You can find us at WagerTalk TV, breaking down things from the world of props, NBA, MLB, NHL, NASCAR from Andy, a little bit of golf, mixing in everything we can from a golf perspective and NFL, everything. We are excited to get NFL back as well. We're going to have that show every single week. As for me, for what I have up, another 4% baseball play up in action for tonight, guys. Also in action in the NHL with a total, but you guys already got that play. Long-term run, like I said, 78% ROI since mid-April. I had a horrible start to the year, guys, in baseball, and I mean horrible. And ever since I got out of that rut, we have made 78 units for the clients. So looking forward to keeping that going. You can find the power plays on the screen. Don Buster going with the Lightning first period, -0.5 at plus 140. Carmine Steven Stamkos over a half power play points at plus 130. And I have Victor Hedman over 2.5 shots plus 100. I want to thank all of you guys for watching us every single day. All of you guys that come at me on Twitter about the Canadiens. All of our producers that love making my background of Vegas Golden Knights the next day. And of course, Buster and Carm for joining me here on Tuesday. Thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck, and I'll see you tomorrow.
With the WagerTalk one-day Power Pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $1.99. What's better than one day of great games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get your sportsbook edge with the entire WagerTalk team of handicappers with this one-day Power Pass, every WagerTalk expert in every game they release for just one day. Your WagerTalk one-day Power Pass is right here, and it's yours for just $1.99.